Hey everyone, in this video I want to show you how to best navigate through our Canvas course for AMP2 lecture as you prepare for the class each week. So I want to just quickly go through some of the items that are in here and how to best use them. First of all, I want you to look at this syllabus link with me. In here you can see my contact information. I do provide my home phone number. You'll see right there. That's important because I am actually not on campus at Hines during the summer. I just teach online classes during the summer. So even though my office number is listed here, you won't get me that way. Um, but you can call me at home. I just ask that you don't call after 9 o'clock at night. You can call early in the morning. I'm an early riser, but I do go to bed early. On weekends are fine. Please contact me if you need to. But there's two documents in this section that I want to emphasize with you. First of all, there's a course syllabus. I'll open that up in just a moment and go through just some of the policies. You can read the rest of them on your own. And then this is a very important course schedule document. I do want each one of you to print this out so that you can access it frequently. This will tell you more than just what you see down here in this course summary. This course summary is what Canvas puts out that just simply lists due dates. The course schedule will give you a lot more information than just the due dates. It will tell you which chapters you'll be working on each week and keep you in the right direction. But anyway, let's look at the course syllabus. As I open that, I'm not going to read this whole syllabus to you. I know that you can do that yourself. But I wanted to scroll through a little bit of the information. First of all, for the textbook, you do have an ebook that's already loaded into your Canvas shell, so you don't have to go out and purchase a textbook. If you would like a hard copy of the book, you can purchase one very, very inexpensively through the Hines bookstore. I believe it's way less than $50. It may be closer to $30, but it's the exact same book as the ebook, but for those of you who would like a printed version. But it's optional. Also, I wanted to scroll through here and talk about how you'll be graded. You will see as we start working through the course that you'll have assignments due each week. Those assignments are mostly quizzes. There's some interactive flashcards that's called Learn Smart. Many of you may have used that in AMP1, but those are going to help you stay on track with the chapters that you're to be studying each week. But those weekly assignments, they'll be open all week long, but you see here that they'll be 15% of your final grade. The rest of your final grade will come from 6 tests. 3 of those will be proctored, and because they're proctored, they're going to weight more heavily than those that are non-proctored. But here you can see 55% of your final grade is from your proctored test average, 30% is from your non-proctored test average, and then 15% will be from your weekly assignment average. Okay, I also wanted to go through attendance, and this is real lengthy here. This is what Hines puts out a lot of this, but basically in an online class, we check attendance just once a week. And we're in here for 8 weeks this summer, so I'll check attendance every Monday based on what you did or did not do the week prior to that. If you have not submitted any assignments during a week, whether that was a test or whether it was a weekly quiz or whether it was one of those Learn Smart activities, if you have not done any of those for the week, you'll be marked absent. If you've missed one or two, but you have done another one, then you will not be marked absent. But in these 8-week courses, like the summer course is, you're getting close to your absences when you just miss 1 week of material. I mean, that's an eighth of the class. And once that happens, I'll be sending a notice of absence to your Hines email, or if you're not one of the Hines students, it will be to the email that you've registered in Canvas with. Um, after that, if you miss any other weeks of activity, then you'll be dropped from the course. And if you're a Heinz student, you know that that means dropped with an F, not with a W. So it's just very important that you make sure you stay on track. And I know that you all are planning to do that right now, so I'm not going to dwell on that anymore. The rest of this syllabus, I do need you to read all of this. Pay close attention to the very end on this netiquette. I know that most of our communication between you and myself will be in a written format through the Canvas inbox. That's probably a really good way to get in touch with me. You certainly can call me. Sometimes a voice is a whole lot better than going back and forth on an email, so please don't hesitate to call. But when you are communicating with your teachers through an email type of format, it's important not to treat that as a text. This is a professional archived documentation, so please read that. And many of you may not be aware of that. You don't put LOL in an email. That's simply reserved for texting with your friends. All right, well, let me close out of this and go back to, this is still within the syllabus link. This second document, this is the one I said that I would like. It would probably be beneficial for you to print this out. But on this course schedule that I'm opening right now, you can see which chapters we'll be covering each of the weeks, and then what dates the weekly assignments are due. Most of these dates are on Sunday, except for the last one. It will be due earlier in the week, and you see that that's on Wednesday. Then at the bottom of this, you see the open and close dates for all of our tests, and also it reminds you which chapter each test covers. So this is where you can find what chapters you work on, when everything is open, all in one little document. And it's so important to me that you not treat this course as, okay, something's due on Sunday, I'm not going to work on it till Sunday, and then I'm going to turn it in. I know a lot of online students think they can get by with that. You cannot in this class. Yes, you can get your weekly assignments done, but you won't have prepared for your tests. That way you'll need to study, study, study. And so the rest of my activity on this video is going to be to show you how to best study in this course. Okay, so what you'll want to do after you've gone through all of these links like you're doing today, then you'll want to go to modules. Modules is where you're going to land almost every day when you come into Canvas. Click on modules, and this is the meat of your course. First of all, you have an introduction module. This module is in pretty much all of your online classes. Make sure you read all of this information. You will have to take this orientation survey. This will tell us that you are planning to be active in the course. I also have a link on how to set up your ebook. It's already there, but you've got to register for it, and the directions for that are in this link. After that, your ebook will be right here in Bookshelf. And you actually, this is pretty neat because you can download this onto your device, whether it's your phone or a netbook or your desktop or a laptop. So it's real handy. You can have access to it even if you don't have internet available. All right, anyway, but all that is explained right here. Then I want you to notice I've got several modules. This first one is the weekly agenda module. This is going to be your directions each week, so you'll know exactly what you need to do to stay on track. So I'm going to give you all the directions there. And in those directions, it's going to then tell you to go to particular chapters in your ebook and also in these chapter links under the course materials module. So if you look at this in here, like if I clicked on one chapter, I've got a lot of information in here. First of all, I've got an objective sheet for each chapter. This is not something you're going to turn into me, but this is basically a review after you've studied your notes. You might wonder, where are your notes? Well, here they are. These are PowerPoint notes. You certainly are welcome to print these out. Just make sure you know if you just say file print, it may print one slide per page. So you'll be using up a lot of paper and a lot of ink. So many of you know that I'm sure that you can print PowerPoint slides with more than one slide on a page. So you might want to do that. You can remove the color from it to save your color ink. But then, so what I'd like you to do, what I think you should do, if it were me studying, I would, when we start a chapter, I would print out these notes, and then once I have the notes printed out in front of me, pretend that you're sitting in a class. Look at these recordings right here. I actually teach this class on campus, and I have recorded every one of my lectures, and they go perfectly with your notes. So you can see this chapter has 3 lecture recordings. These are not short 10, 15-minute recordings now. These are long. Some of these classes were over an hour in length. But that's why you have a pause button. You can always come back to them. But what you should do when you first start a chapter, print out the notes, and then with the notes in front of you, view these recordings, taking notes as you do. And then once you've done that, go back and study your notes as if you were, going home from a face-to-face class. So these recordings are like you sitting in class with me. Now it's your turn to go and learn the material. Once you feel like you've learned it, then go to these chapter objectives. See if you can answer those questions without looking at your notes or your book. And if you can do that, then you've got a real good handle on the material, and you probably will do well on your test. Okay, so that's what's in these chapter materials modules. The course materials. So you see the chapter, all the chapters there are laid out. And then this next module, this is where you will get your where you will submit your assignments. All these weekly assignments, like here I have a link for that orientation survey, which is also linked up in that introduction module. Here's where your weekly quizzes will be. Now, I know many of you have taken a lot of courses through Canvas, and you may have relied on that course summary that Canvas puts out that I can't remove. I wish I could. It's in that syllabus button. You just look at due dates, you click on a quiz and take it, and then you're done. Well, there's a lot of preparation for these quizzes. The quizzes are open all week. You can go in and out of them all you want, but if you actually hit the submit button, it's a done deal and you will not be able to access them again. I would suggest that you print your quizzes out, work on them all week long, and then when you feel like you want to submit them, then go ahead and do that, and your grade will stand. Once you've submitted it, you will not be able to go back into the quizzes again. A lot of students like to use those quizzes to review for the test, so I would suggest that you print them out before the due dates on them. Don't think that the test questions are exactly like the quiz questions. The quiz questions just give you an idea of the types of questions that I'll ask. And these quiz questions will always be referenced from the notes of the chapter of that week. Okay, then there's what we call a Learn Smart activity. I've got directions for that, and you'll be able to figure that out. Just make sure you read these directions. But this is an intuitive, interactive flashcard situation, and once you complete them, you'll get 100. Let me tell you, if you wait until the due date to start on them, you're not going to finish, because some of these are over 100 questions, over 100 flashcards, but they really do reinforce your knowledge. And if you continuously get something wrong, the system is going to say, okay, go back, you need to read this in your book, and then it'll throw that card back up at you. It's just going to keep doing that until you've completed it with 100. So start early. I would suggest that you do a little bit of studying on your notes and then start these. Don't just rely on them to look up answers. Too many times students treat these weekly assignments as, oh, well, she's not here, I can look up answers. Well, yeah, you can do that, but are you really learning it? I would suggest study your notes ahead of time. I think I've dwelt on that enough. I'm just adamant about that. I just hate that students think all they have to do in an online class is busy work. You have got to sit down and learn your notes, and that's why I have those recordings for you. All right, and then this next module, this is where you will go when you want to take a test. Some of your tests are proctored, so that means you've got to get those scheduled. In the weekly in the weekly agenda, I direct you to how to do that, but it's basically through this Smarter Proctoring link. I would suggest strongly that you early in the semester go on and set up the dates that you're going to take each test and the time you're going to take the proctored test. If you just think you can go in and be a walk-in, you may not get a seat. And I'm not always going to reopen that test for you. In fact, I'm being adamant this summer I am not going to reopen these tests just because somebody was too lazy to get it scheduled ahead of time. So go ahead and do that. Otherwise, you get a 0 on it. You'll notice that we have 6 tests. Each one covers 2 chapters. So in other words, there's not a comprehensive final exam. So anyway, this last little module, this is a link to one of the older versions of the textbook, and you can go into each chapter. There's practice tests in there. There's a lot of little things you can do, crossword puzzles, all kinds of things you can do to help reinforce your study. All right. The rest of this, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. If you will go back to the home screen, I've got one link right here, this navigation links description. This is going to describe what's in the rest of these. So you can read that on your own. You probably already have. Anyway, I hope that you all make an A. That's my goal. But realize that this will take time. You know, just think if one of those recordings took me an hour to explain, and I already know this, I've been teaching it for a very long time. Don't you think that listening to it once or twice is not going to be enough for you? Listen to it once and then go in and dig into your notes and learn those well enough to answer your objectives. Okay, folks, well, that's all on this video. Just make sure you get started. I love teaching this class. I love all the organ systems of AMP2. I'll tell my face-to-face students, these are the systems that you go to the doctor about. And so it's so fun to learn all the ins and outs, and I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed preparing this for you.